Hey Mike,
Hey Oliver,
how's it going?
it's going, man.
Hey, there's a thing behind me.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I don't know where that came from.
I mean, it's got bunny ears, so I'm gonna say probably 95, maybe. Uh,
Maybe, maybe a little, maybe 80s,
maybe.
late 80s.
It's got a sand shrew in it.
Oh my God, it's adorable.
Oh my god, it's our friend Alec. Hey Alec.
Hey,
Whoa!
hey.
Look at me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a
I'm
pangolin.
sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry you
also a
had to
human,
float
though.
down here.
That's all right. Well, thanks
At
for
least you're
putting
on a
me in this thing.
CRT.
Yeah, and not one of those crummy uh, 4K TVs.
Yeah, have you guys seen
Terrible.
those the ones that curve all weird? What's up with that? Am I like 30 years
Yeah,
late
the
on
curved
that?
curved TV. There's
Yeah.
curved monitors too. They're very expensive.
Why are they
Way
like
because
what
it's curved technology.
How do they do that?
what does that
How do they
mean?
do that in the warehouse? How do they make them curve? Do you think they just bend them? They got two guys on either side, and they say, "All right, let's
Yeah,
bend
Yeah,
this in place."
they put them up against a
they heat
pole with clamps.
they
And
heat,
they
they heat the middle. They get a little hot rod in the center.
they do it like glass blowing. They're just spitting the
Exactly.
TV, making it really hot.
Yeah,
And some guy standing like nearby and like overalls going, "Yep, yep, yep, that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh, yeah." Sorry. You guys don't watch glass blowing videos?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
they're
haven't
so
done,
good.
I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet.
Okay. I will send you. It's so
All
cool.
right.
Cuz it's
I know.
all
Yeah, that's not cool.
because they're like they're always like in a forge warehouse thing, but
Yeah, yeah.
like there's always like there's always like it's like a Sith Lord training center. There's always like the apprentice and the master, right?
Pouring magma.
Yeah. So it's just hot magma. Some guys going like, "I hate you," the high ground. Then another just spinning a pole, and then one guy's just got his hands on his waist, like he's pregnant, like wrist on the waist type thing, and just going, "Yep, yep,
All right.
all right, yep." Yep, you want to spin that? Yeah, okay, yep. Put it back in, drench it, and then you start, it's great.
Trenchant in what?
Um, depends. Depends on the glass. Look, this isn't the nowhere to glass podcast, right? This is the nowhere to
Well, it
go.
could be. It
It
could be.
could
We don't
be
want to cut off our options here.
whatever avenue to success. I don't care what it
Sure.
takes. If I got to talk about glass blowing, I'm in.
So, what kind of glass blowing videos did you watch this week, Oliver?
Okay, well, if you really want to know, I've been following this artist called Dave Chihuly. All right, or
Oh,
Dale.
Yeah, sure.
He has some work out in Miami. I saw a while back. He's got an eye patch. This guy's amazing.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah,
wow.
dude. Yeah, he's serious. But he makes
Oh, he's snake.
crazy like glass sculptures and stuff. Like they're all like spitty and stuff. Anyways,
Nice.
don't ask if you don't want the real answers, man. I'm here for you. I'm here for all the glass blowing.
So the
All
one eye
right.
makes him better because I don't know, more
Oh, what? Oh
senses.
my God! Hold on. Whoa. That
What
was
happened? Huh?
fucking
Huh?
Siri jumped in and just like
Oh,
butted
no.
into the conversation.
What a jerk.
Yeah, it's a lady.
Not invited.
It's a lady.
Ladies can be jerks. Come
True.
on.
I feel like they have their
Nah,
own
that's not
words.
possible.
All right. Here, let's
Weird.
let's jump back in. Hey Mike, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I've mostly been just playing a free-to-play gacha game called Honkai Star Rail. It's
Man,
a
this guy,
JRPG turn-based game. I haven't spent a cent, but I'm really enjoying it.
you're all about the quality, man. You're all about that.
It's act-
Is it
it's
good?
actually really good. It's
Mm,
like when you think of like gacha games, you mostly think of like phone games,
yep.
but like this is actually like a game. It's like this full 3D graphics, fully modeled. Like it feels like like a stylized anime, like Final Fantasy type game. So
And you said
I'm really enjoying it.
it says turn based.
It is turn-based, yeah, and it's free to play.
So how similar is it to Genshin Impact?
Well, Genshin Impact's more like a Zelda Breath of the Wild type open world thing, but you have like
Mhm.
characters that you gotcha for, and you have different abilities and stuff, ultimates and everything like that. Where it's just like no turn-based, just third-person action combat, right? Um, and open world exploration. Honkai Star Rail is more like instance worlds much more focus on the story,
Mhm.
like much more in depth, like cutscenes and voice acting. But that presentation's way better than it is in Genshin Impact. Not to say that those are bad. They're not. They could be better. They're just they're okay.
They're in it for
But
the money.
that's right. I mean, yeah, that's the precipice of all these things, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Star Wars is pretty good. I'm actually really enjoying the game mechanics behind it, and I don't know, there is something really satisfying that I'm finding about like these Mihoyoverse, like that's the name of the company, like their gotcha game styles, where it is like a full game, but like you have the gotcha inputted into it. So like you have a stamina system of energy to spend on resources to improve your characters or get resources, right? But it's like limited to how much it generates a day. So that really limits how much you can progress at a certain time. More impatient people will be incentivized to pay money to speed that up. But if you're patient, you don't have to spend a dime, and you can still have a pretty good experience, in my opinion. Because like
Does it
just
limit you?
yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
no, sorry. Yeah. So like you can only progress so far before like your stamina runs out, and then you have to wait for it to regenerate. So like you'll eventually catch up to what so-called whales are playing right now, but it'll just take a while longer. So there's really no reason to rush, other than if you just want to get to the end sooner and just pay a bunch of money to do that, which I highly uh, advise you not to do. Gotcha games are, that is gambling, and that is, people do struggle with that type of addiction. But if you can enjoy just a slow-paced JRPG grinding game with very beautiful animations and good voice acting and storytelling, I think you can still really enjoy the game.
Nice.
Did you say gambling? I'm in. What was it? I
Gambling.
heard we're throwing our money at things. Let's do it. Actually, the only time, not an addiction, but the only time I realized that or the first time I realized that gambling was like a thing, because as you grow up as a kid, you hear like, oh, people have all these problems. Like, I would never have these problems. I figured it out by playing Shenmue. Right? This is
yeah.
Because every day you get your allowance, right? Your
That's
mom or your grandma, she gives you like $20 or whatever. Like, all right, and then you go out and you do whatever it is you're gonna do because you're some unemployed kid on a revenge mission. So you're just walking around. I'm like, oh shit, let me just get some of these literally gotcha toys, and I spent all my money every day doing that, and then whenever I would come out of my gambling stupor, I'd be like, oh my god, I gotta go do something else. I'd go spend the rest of my money at the arcade and just play like Super Hang On. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my time? And then I lost a day.
Yeah.
I'm not any closer to solving the mystery of my father's murder. I'm like, man, this is terrible. Gambling, guys. Gambling.
Yeah. You gotta learn how to control it.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway. So that's what you've been playing lately? Just
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. And then I watched a friend of mine play through Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
That's about it for game stuff for me.
How glitchy is that for him? What is is he getting any bugs or anything like that?
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough for him because he played on PC and he has a pretty dated PC at this point. It's going on 8 years now.
Oh
boy.
It's a strong PC for that time, but that's an old ass PC
that's
now.
Fucking, that's Mayan technology. Just get rid of that thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty rough up front, but like he played it day one, and like he played it like a good 2 days. It crashed multiple times.
Oh no.
The frame rate was really low and stuttery, but he got a decent ways in before they patched, like their optimization patch came out, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
that helped a little bit. It still would crash every so often, but he was able to play through it and finish the game. So
okay. I know, Alec, you've been playing that lately, right?
Yeah, I've been playing the first game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and
okay.
I feel like a dummy because I should have been playing this game a long time ago.
Oh, you really like it?
Yeah, it's really good. And the
Right
best
on.
part about it is that my wife Ashley, we get to play it together. So she has a fascination with the Star Wars IP, and then she just enjoys watching me beat stormtroopers and traverse all the levels and explore, and
That's
she's
awesome.
thrilled by that. Yeah, it's a time for her and I to bond when oftentimes she's reading a book on the couch and I'm just playing through another game that she's not interested in. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
love
but
that
no, I
feeling.
mean the game's fun. It's a little janky because
Yeah.
I remember correctly 4 years ago when the game first released, there was a lot of issues, visual issues, and there's still some of that in there. Like if you're swinging your lightsaber around, Cal is gonna spaz a little bit when he connects with the enemy.
He's a
baton.
Padawan.
Yeah, that's just he was born that way.
Definitely a paddle.
He's
Born that way.
he's nervous. What do you want? He's
Yeah.
gotta. Yeah, I remember like one thing I noticed about that game is that it felt like whenever you were turning, like there was like an anchor in between your legs, and you just kind of like pivot on it, like it was like you were walking on an invisible ball you didn't realize you were on. So if you turn left, he like his head tilts all the way left. Like what the dude? Just turn your shoulders. Like what are you doing?
He's part owl, yeah.
He just, yeah, he you know those like. Do you remember when we were kids? Those like punching bags that you like for kids that had like sand on the bottom that would just kind of come back at you.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like sometimes. You did like a quick turn. It's like, whoa, dude, keep your feet on the ground, man.
Yeah, the animations for running are always just super distracting in both of the games because it's the same thing for the new game as well.
Yeah.
Just guy needs to go to the bathroom, I guess. So
Just, I haven't seen a toilet in this whole universe, man. Let's be honest.
well, actually, they showed that in the sequel. You can actually go to a bathroom and not use it, thankfully. But
What?
just,
Why not?
well,
Sounds useful.
it's pretty nasty looking.
Guys gotta
Wow.
pee sometime.
I mean, you can use the toilet in like Animal Crossing. Come on.
I mean, Andor canonized bathrooms for Star Wars, right? Andor did that, right?
I believe that was the highlight of the series. Yeah, when they showed the toilets. Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, no.
It was in the previews. They're like, guys, hold on to your butts. Space toilets. I'm kidding. Andor's
Jurassic Park.
fine. Yeah, same. It's the same. It's all the same thing. Same universe, right? I just saw a trailer for like a movie with Kylo Ren fighting dinosaurs on another planet or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking like
Another
BC
one?
or something like that.
No, it's called 65. You know,
65,
it's about
whatever.
retirement. All right, welcome to the Nowhere to Dad podcast. Jeez.
Recover.
Anyway, so yeah, you've been enjoying Star Wars.
He
Then,
shits on Andor, then he goes into a dad joke.
Sorry.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
that's what I'm here to do. All right, that's the dynamic.
Is
all right?
it?
This
Oh,
guy.
no.
That's what he does.
Cancel the podcast.
He's not even a dad yet.
I will,
Doesn't even
dude. I'm
carry
a
that
dad
title yet.
in all the back pain. I'll tell you what. My favorite thing about Fallen Order, it was definitely that it felt the funnest interaction with stormtroopers since like Jedi power battles. It was so fun to just like deflect, like, you know, like 4 of them are shooting at you, like clank, 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 clank. Like you're all down.
Right.
I'm amazing. And then, you know, big dude with a staff shows up. You're like, okay, hold on, slow it down. Why are you so much
Beat
better
your
than me?
ass.
And then they're like, hey, here's a spider. You're like, oh god, why would I even be on this planet if I knew spiders were this big here? It doesn't seem like it's worth it. Yeah, well, again, look who else lives there. There's no reason to be there. It's
The
not.
Wookiees do, man.
Yeah, and they'll rip your arms off. So what are we doing? Everything's
See,
a
I made
fucking
the
danger.
mistake. I made the mistake to go to Drathmere first because they give you an option. They say, "Oh, go to Drathmere or go to this other New Zealand-looking planet."
Middle Earth.
And so Ash is like, "Oh, go to the dark one, the one that looks like Mars." All right, I'll go there. And so
Yeah.
I head there, and there's a big ape-looking monster, and then all these spiders. Well, I'm dying constantly, and I say I'm just gonna keep ramming my head against these monsters until I
no.
succeed. And sure enough, I made some progress, and then had to stop because I had no more special skills to progress and traverse the levels. But I go to the next.
Because it has like a Metroidvania type thing.
Oh yeah, like kind of like Dark Souls, where you find
right.
the meditation point and you're gaining skills. Well, I go back to the New Zealand planet, and stormtroopers are being one shot. They're just left and right. You know, they're falling at my.
Easy.
Yeah, easy like raccoons. Yeah.
I think my favorite moment in that game was when a door opened and I just went in like, you know, lightsaber swinging, and I just straight up murdered an evil R2-D2, just sliced him in half, and I was like, "That's what you get." Screams. Yeah, he screamed like, "You're on the wrong side, you idiot." Anyways,
he was defenseless. Yeah.
Well, you know, he's a fascist. I don't know what to tell you. He's a fascist droid. Get out of here.
He was just painted that way, man.
He was born that way. Yeah.
Stop. That ain't my fault.
I'm just saying, Star Wars needs to show a little bit more sympathy for droids, because droids in that universe are pretty dang special.
Every episode, we always come back to Star Wars.
Hey, man.
All right.
I saw it on the list, and I knew. Okay, just like we're gonna dive in.
Fine. I'll go on the record and I'll say what they did to C-3PO in the sequels is a travesty. All right. They did some. In the last episode where they spoiler
I saw it and I don't remember.
Remember they like kill him and then they bring him back. They made that they made that whole thing like yeah, we gotta wipe your memory.
It was a sacrifice and they just brought him back.
Yeah, but also they already did that. So like I don't see what the big deal was. They're like, oh, we gotta wipe his memory, and they all this emotional buildup. I'm like, dude, they literally do that at the end of episode 3 on a whim. Just like erase your memories. Anyways, Well,
like they forced this whole thing where it's just like, I'll forget my friends, and like, you know, it's just like none of these people are your friends, dude. They're just fucking assholes. Like,
all your friends are dead.
Yeah, man. Your friends aren't here, dude. R2-D2 wasn't even there. I don't think.
No, he. I think he was like, what was he? He wasn't with Luke. He had the directions to where Luke was. But he was just like hiding in a corner. Like, just being, like, depressed or whatever.
Yeah, he had a blanket on his head.
Oh my god. Yeah. The disrespect. Star Wars. Anyways.
Yeah.
So you liking the game, Alec?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it through. I'm a trophy hunter, so I'm probably going to
play
it too, because I'm looking at the PSN profiles, and it's pretty easy to... It's a pretty high percentage. I think it's like 40%.
Is that to beat it on all the difficulties too, or?
No, there's no missable trophies. There's no difficulty trophies.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can just beat it straight up. Go find some treasure chests because that's one of the trophies, and just to
get all those ponchos.
Yeah, all the ponchos.
The ponchos, man. It's the best part of the game.
No man buns in this game, unfortunately.
I'll say that apparently there was a complaint about like how little you can customize your character's look in the first game.
Yeah.
So in the sequel, they fucking went ham on it, and it's really dumb. I'm just gonna say
really dumb.
It's dumb. It's so bad. Like they made it Saints Row, man. Like. You have a face scan, like, you know, actor, like, character model that they scanned into the game. But now you can just put a mullet on him, you can give him a Fu Manchu, just like, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. It's like, all these, like, some of them are okay. Like, there's a Chuck Norris one where he's just got a fucking bandana around his hair.
I'm in.
And some of them are like that. Yeah, you can't change the color of his hair either, so it's just fixed orange, bright fucking... Conan O'Brien orange. Yeah.
That's what they need. Conan O'Brien hair. That would really
exactly. Yeah, that's not in there. It's just why not?
These stormtroopers are really coming at me. Yeah.
In the year 3000.
Wait, that was the best impression of Conan I've ever heard. I can just see you wiggling your hair and shit. Like...
While his lightsaber's flailing around. Yeah.
You can hear the hair wiggling.
You can hear it, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Well, that's crazy. You know, I don't know. Why would you want to? I understand like character customization when it comes to like characters that you make, or at the very least at the beginning of their story. Like, why after the fact? Like, by the way, this guy has a certain affinity for dreadlocks and and biker beards. Like what?
And they added a bunch of like customizations to the lightsaber as well, and like he gets a gun now. He can gets a blaster, so you can
Finally.
customize that too.
That's so cool.
But you could just make it look like it's made out of plastic and like pink and like
Ugh.
light blue, or just
No.
or made of wood. You can make it all like a wood texture.
Stop it. A wooden
It's too
lightsaber.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. I've never seen a tree in Star Wars. What are you talking about?
The Kashyyyk, man.
They don't exist. Okay. Just spiders.
The planet is just trees. Endor.
Never heard of it. So anyways.
I heard that's an ocean planet.
Yeah, full of metal. It's just iron and ocean. Yeah, I think
Anyways.
what was I gonna say? Oh, can you customize the little whatever his name is?
BD? Yeah, you can
BB-8,
customize them too.
BB-12.
Yeah, you can do that in the first game as well. Just different coats of paint. Yeah.
Also, really like the ship you rock in the first game.
Mantis?
Oh, the Mantis, yeah.
Yeah, super cool looking ship. I love games where you can just walk around the ship. I'm into that.
I wish they would explain the little fin, What is the advantage of having that at different angles when you're
It's like a gyro, isn't it? It like moves around like when it flies.
I guess. There's just several ships in the Star Wars universe that I look at and I think, what's the advantage to having that thing, expand?
It's the rule of
twist?
Cool, man.
Fair enough.
It looks cool. It works.
Yeah, I was we were watching Star Trek the other day, and I was like, why do they always turn the fucking ship around? You're in space. Just go backwards. It doesn't matter. There's not a propeller on the back of the ship, dude.
Read the books, man. That's how a lot of books describe the maneuvering.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat.
You're just moving in 3D in any direction because you're just blowing up antimatter. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyways, sorry. All right, that was your Star Wars minute. Yeah.
Star Wars minute.
What else have you been playing, Alec? Anything else?
Yeah, I've also been. So when I'm playing that with Ashley, I'll be also playing Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if you guys have played any of these Yakuza games, but they're out of pocket wild. Some of the approaches that they.
I see my buddy play a couple of them, and I've always wanted to get into it. Just haven't found the time for it yet, but they look really fun.
If I could explain it, ridiculous. If I could explain it, it's a balance between very serious, melodramatic scenes between very strong Yakuza mobsters and very silly side quests that are
it's like
way out of hand.
Like a Japanese soap opera. Tier level writing.
God.
I had one quest in Sotenbori, and there's this guy on this bridge, and he's like, "Hey, man, would you like to be my male model? It'll only take a couple seconds. We can do this photo shoot in the business center." And so I go there. Well, I get up there, and the photographer is this bodybuilder named Poison, and he's just wearing a thong, and he's taking pictures of me. Very animated man. And turns out the main character, Kiryu, says, well, now that you've taken those pictures, what are you going to do with it? He's like, well, I'm going to put them in a competition, an art competition. And Kiryu says, no, I don't want you to do that. And you end up fighting the guy. So it's just stuff like that. It takes a turn. And then the story flips, and the guy will say, well, thank you for setting me on the right path of creativity. And I've definitely learned a hard lesson in life. So
all right,
you've got quests like that, and they're even more crazy than that. But you'll have those, and then you're like, well, I'm done with the silliness now. I'm going to go back to the main quest, and then you'll have really engaging main quests where there's the Korean mob that's involved, and then you have the warring factions between the families, different Yakuza families, and you have to. I'll tell you what, man, like you're trying to figure out who's in charge of who and who said what, because you look at the faces, but it's all in Japanese, so you got to keep everything by memory. And I really like it. All the story flows together. It's all coherent. This story takes place in 2005, so as a guy who lives in 2005, you see like, oh, I see CRTVs or I see flip phones and a time and place. type deal. So
Mhm.
I definitely recommend you guys, if you're ever interested in the series, that you start on Yakuza 0, because that is where it all begins.
That's what I heard as well. Yeah, it's like the remake, right, of the original
Uh,
game.
that one is no, it's just a prequel that they made,
Oh, okay.
and it just highlights all of the stories between Majima and Kiryu, and
I see.
explains where they came from, their origin story. So
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely want to give those games a shot someday.
same. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
bit of a. I should have played it already. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm literally here, and I'm like, whatever. I'll play him sometime.
But I mean, Oliver, you saw that clip of me throwing the guy,
Yes.
picking him up,
Oh my
picking him
God.
up and grabbing him and twisting and spinning and throwing him like a discus off the bridge.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm 100% sold. Why haven't I seen this before? Like, I gotta play
There's
this.
just moments you're sitting there and you're laughing at what's occurring, because you have all these, crazy punches and kicks, and it's all over the place. Like you're dangling from a chandelier in one of the headquarters, and then they're shooting you down from below, and so you're avoiding their gunshots, and then the chandelier falls on them as you just narrowly roll to the side and survive. Yeah, it's so crazy, ridiculous.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember hearing there was like a lot of like Shenmue DNA in the game, in like the first ones, but I just never. The other thing is that here they're only you can only find them in Japanese. Like they don't have any translation stuff, so I'd have to buy it in the States so I can actually like enjoy the story and not have to treat it like homework. But now that it's on the PS Plus thing, I definitely got to try it out. So much easier now.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Zero and I think Kiwami and
Yeah, you could do 0, and then so they remade 1 and 2, and they call that Kiwami 1 and 2. I personally don't think the first one is worthwhile going through, because there's some annoying features added to it. But and they'll do like a flashback at the beginning of number 2. So if you feel inclined, and also the second one I didn't mention is the graphics are huge upscale, and so they used a whole new graphic engine. So the city looks amazing, and it only runs at 30 frames, unfortunately. But that's the one downside.
Gotcha.
If you're playing on PlayStation.
Right.
Honestly,
yeah,
I'm happy with the 30 frame game if it's stable. I don't really.
It just works for me.
Yeah. I don't play Call of Duty.
If I stare at it long enough,
by 60 FPS game yet.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, also, like when you think about like movies and stuff, like when I think about movies I saw when I was growing up, like none of them were like more than 24 frames a second.
Well, that's a bit different though, right? You're just sitting and watching something play, right?
Right.
When you're moving around and stuff, you need a little bit more, at least to make it look smoother. That's why industry standard now is 60 FPS, but a lot of games still struggle to even do that, because like, I don't know, man, it's been a pretty rough year so far. There's some good games that have been coming out. I mean, we got Tears of the Kingdom coming out next week, but like, there's been a lot of rough PC ports coming out, and even like console ports and everything. Just games are just coming out even more broken and just not working right. So it's really, really tough to see that.
Yeah. Don't buy
I don't know
a PC.
how Tears is gonna run. That thing is
that I'm worried about it. I'm
it.
genuinely worried about it working on the Switch. That's all I wanted. I just wanted it to work. But I'm being hopeful, or I have faith in the devs that they took the time to make it work.
I mean, they took their time. Like, holy shit, it's been like 6 years, right?
Yeah. It's not like the Pokemon company. They have to squeeze a game out every year.
Yeah. I think also like, I'm pretty sure it's using the same engine as well, so that could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like if I remember correctly, Breath of the Wild was the first time they used the Havoc engine, and so this is the second time they get to use it for this game, so it shouldn't be too terrible. There's still some rough spots in Breath of the Wild, like the forest, the Lost Woods.
Yeah,
that shit got really choppy, but at the same time, it wasn't like an action-packed area to begin with. It was just like talking to Koroks or whatever, so I don't really care that much.
And also that village on the east side of the map.
Village
That big
on the east
village?
side.
Not
Akala? Or
the traditional Japanese-looking village.
oh,
And there's
right,
one
right.
south of that. Yeah,
Kakariko, yeah, Kakariko Village
Kakariko. Yeah.
in the mountains.
Yep.
Yeah, that one had a lot of. I think I'm pretty sure it had to do with the particle effects because that place was extra hazy, just like the woods, but not as much, right? But all the other places that were just like open air seemed to run fine.
Potentially, yeah.
But anyways, that was
I
like
know that
5 years ago,
with,
you know. Like,
with the dirt bike, it slowed down a lot, but the game was not built around that dirt bike.
oh my god! But was it ever? 'Cause
It's
holy
so good,
shit!
though.
Oh,
That dirt bike is so good.
did you ever get that, Alec?
Oh no, I was too turned off by how it looked. It looked very
Oh,
looked like a Bionicle, and I can't let that stand.
Let me tell you, man.
I let it slide.
It changes the dynamic so much. Just like launching yourself off a mountain, and then just gliding down and just summoning a bike again, and the game recognizes it as a horse as well, so you can
Right.
use it to do like all the little like Korok horse challenges and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah.
the hopping over the obstacles or whatever. You can use a dirt bike for it. It's so stupid.
It ran off fuel, right? It just like it was like the
Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
Just throw all your garbage in there and just like you're fueled up. Like, oh
So
my god.
perfect.
Throw your garbage in there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was all just like rotten food,
Free
dubious
energy.
food, and like what was it, like bones,
right.
Elon?
horns. Yeah, Elon, get on it. Where's our Mr. Fusion already?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Shape it like a horse. Shape it like a horse.
I have so many banana peels I could just throw into my car right now.
Yeah.
Surplus of banana peels.
Anything else you want to go over, Alec, that you've been playing lately, or are you?
There's one more I can mention.
Okay.
Ghostwire Tokyo just released a new downloadable content.
You want to come
for their
visit, dude?
game.
Seems like all your stuff is over here, man.
Yeah, even if the game is not that great, and it immerses me in some kind of Japanese little world of mine, I love it. I eat it up. It's like junk food to me. It's like why do I even need to go to the country? I can just play my little games here at home.
100%. Don't even go.
Yeah.
You got it all. You get the whole shebang if you just play Yakuza.
You need to go to Japan and get your rickshaw experience.
Oh my god, no.
Go to a maid cafe.
Oh, that. Yeah, I'm sure Ashley would love that.
Honestly, they're not as bad as people think. It's just it's a gross feeling, but nothing's happening. They're just dressed different.
Personally, the theatrics would make me feel awkward because it's all theatrics, right? It's just it's over the top.
It's theatrics with a surcharge. Like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
We have Chick-fil-A here. I mean, you could say thank you and force them to say my pleasure as many times as
God, I remember
humanly can.
When Chick-fil-A opened, like they opened the first one in Miami, and everybody kept saying my pleasure, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Why do they do this? Like, I had no idea. I'm like, they're so polite here. And I'm looking around like, it's a thing at Chick-fil-A. They always have to say my pleasure. They don't say you're welcome.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I don't go to Chick-fil-A.
There's a couple times they don't say it. And I'm like, you really got to follow that up. I'm going to have to speak to your manager.
You've
been indoctrinated to the point where they need to say it now.
I will say, like, so in Japan, like, customer service is really important in a lot of ways, for the most part. Like, wherever you go, people are always saying thank you and welcome and all this stuff, right? But like the closest you can get to that is fucking Chick-fil-A. 100%. It's like, I just remember being like uncomfortable with the amount of attention I was getting. I'm like, I just want a chicken sandwich. What are we doing here? Like, just being way too nice. And they're like, yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm like, dude, what do you mean my pleasure? Nobody says that. Like, what are you talking about?
You just have to. You tell them, would you kindly give me a chicken sandwich?
I just like every time I go, I just make like I don't know, like Amish jokes. I'm like, there's a guy in the back churning butter right now. You guys don't know. He's like, my pleasure.
It's like the Patrick Star thing when he works at the Krusty Krab, and he's like, "Can I take your hat, sir? Can I take your jacket, sir?" Like, whoa, Patrick, too much.
Yeah, it's
but
like...
yeah, anyway, this Ghostwire Tokyo, so they have two components to this. They have single player gameplay with a couple side quests, and they have those little gotcha machines in this game.
Gambling.
Okay,
Put those
right.
in, and there's a trophy to get 50 of them. And I was like, oh,
I
yeah,
bet there is.
I'm in the end game. I have plenty of money, so like Oliver, I'll spend it all, and that's what I did. And and so then there's that portion, which is all well and good. Two side quests, and then there's a roguelike mode that you can tap into called Spider's Thread, I think it's called. And
Right.
what it is you're going through 30 levels, and if you die, you restart. You gain some powers, more health. They also added these new cool powers where you have 3 elemental powers in the main game: wind, water, and fire.
Heart?
No heart.
Not
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Captain Planet in Tokyo.
Yeah, not in Tokyo.
That pig guy's gonna come
So I've been really interested to play that game, and I haven't found the time to do it. It is on like Game Pass for free as well, so I could play it on PC. But it's so what is it? It's like a first person like action game, right?
Yeah, first person action game. So what you're doing is you're cycling between your powers. Your wind is you're going to use your most, and just you'll have it's almost like it's like a first person shooter, and you'll just cycle between those based off how much ammo you have, and you're fighting these little, I don't know what you even call them. They're ghosts, but they're just
Yokai?
people. Yeah,
Demons?
yokai. Yeah, they're floating clothes with no body, kind of Slenderman kind of looking people, and different variations
Cool.
of yokai.
Is it a scary game, you'd say? Or?
No, it's. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say at all. No, I mean you have like these different portions where it turns into control, and some of the environment is shifting, kind of like Doctor Strange, and that's all well and good, but you're shooting the enemies.
Sounds terrifying.
I guess.
Hell,
Hey,
I mean, there's no jump scares, so that's good. There's no.
Oliver, look where we are. We're in the abyss, man.
I know.
Nothing should faze us.
It's nothing should. You're right.
But essentially, you're shooting the enemies, and it's exposing their core and what you do. It's actually really cool on the PlayStation, which you may not be able to experience on the PC. But you kind of you throw this wire into their core, and you pull it out with your fingers, and it feels really cool with the DualSense. Yeah, the story's good. It's fairly short. You could run around the city and explore and collect spirits if you want to, or little shrines.
That's cool.
You could pet a dog.
Oh, that's
hell
it.
yeah,
10 out of 10. That's it. That's all it takes.
Shiba Inu petting.
You can
Oh,
pet the
cats
dog.
too. You can pet
Oh
those as well.
boy, that's
Oh,
it. Take
It's
my
the
money.
Yeah, definitely give it a shot if you're even the least bit interested, because it's worth doing, especially now with some of the new powers. Like some of the wind powers are cool because you can, if you hit the right trigger, you can R3, you can turn it into like a machine gun for wind, or you can freeze
Machine
your
gun
enemies
wind.
with the water.
Never saw Yang do that.
You can have fire coming out of your palm, and it's. I'm like, man, I wish this was in the real game when I played it before the downloadable content.
You didn't see that in Korra? That's she did.
Oh
She
yeah, it's
did do
bending.
that in
Yeah, she
Korra?
gets the Avatar state, and she just brings out these Tommy guns, just starts shooting air at him.
Oh my god.
That's
Awesome.
how I would describe it.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It kinda, yeah, I feel like maybe, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I'm in this weird, like, I don't know what to do with myself for the next week because there's an amazing game coming out, and it's probably going to take up all my time, so I don't want to dedicate myself to anything, but what do I do? You know, is rough
I'm
out
being
there.
oppressed by life. So
Damn.
I got so much going on. I'm just trying to get my house cleaned up so
Yeah.
I can figure out where I'm gonna live in the next year and going forward. So
Are you moving?
trying to. I live in a big old house right now, just by myself though. So I gotta get out of here, find my own place. But yeah, just I'm pretty lukewarm as far as hype levels for anything. When it's out, I'm gonna definitely play it. But I'm glad I don't have any like anxiousness to play anything because I don't need any more. I don't need any more anxiety.
I'm like, I think also being blind to everything is really helping me in that end because it's like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
This could really suck. Like I could hate half of it, and I'm just like it doesn't matter. I'm diving in. Like it's just gonna happen. I'm gonna force myself to go through it. But
that's seeming unlikely. I don't know.
I know it's really unlikely.
The gameplay looks too good to be true, especially what people are saying about it.
I don't know, man. All I've seen is what did I say before? It was just like, the other day I saw on Twitter someone's like, because they're the previews are starting to go out, right? Like other news outlets are getting the game.
Like the game.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, which is really. Also, have you seen the Kotaku shit about that? It's kind of ridiculous.
No,
well, so they're blacklisted by Nintendo because.
Oh shit! Okay.
Because when Dread came out, good. Because when Metroid Dread came out, like the day of or the day after, within the week or a very short amount of time, they were like, "Oh my god, this game plays great on this emulator. You should check it out." It's like, what the fuck?
What?
What the fuck are you doing? They're like, it plays better than on the Switch. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? They're not gonna not gonna want to work with you, idiots. What are you doing? You're promoting piracy. And of course, they're like,
thought this was a good idea.
I don't know. And now they're all kind of just complaining that they didn't get access to the game and stuff. So what they're doing is they're promoting the leaks now. They're like writing articles about the leaks and everything they found out on the leaks. And it's like, dude,
so petty,
super petty. But yeah, that's the best way to repair the relationship with it.
Yeah, they got nothing to lose. I mean, they're blacklisted, so may as well go all in, scorched earth.
I mean, you could, or you could just, I don't know, have integrity. Anyways.
It's too much to ask.
Too much. Much too much. But yeah. So let me talk about what I've been playing really quick because it's not nothing crazy, but mostly been grinding out on a Monster Hunter Stories 2. I'm like 50 hours in, which is kind of wild for me.
That's further than I got for sure.
Yeah, I'm fucking crazy about Monster Hunter, but like I'm not lately in my old age, I feel like I don't really have the attention span for long RPGs. You know, like I get really turned off by like the fucking the stereotypical like, oh, we're teenagers and we gotta save the world and oh boy, I have a hard time. It's stressful. Like I don't I'm gonna go to this village now and solve all their problems. Like okay, I don't. But this game, it's first off, it's Monster Hunter, so I'm like half my body's through the door already. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of in, but the combat is just good enough to keep me around. Like, it's snappy enough. I'm getting new monsters in rotation pretty quick. They got experience share, so I don't got to worry about that shit. It's not like they catch up really, really quick. So you get to like try out new monsters and stuff. But like the level of difficulty is like holding up across the board. So when things feel like they're getting easier, like you just get smacked down really quick. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I really got to pay attention. And the mechanics are not. It got a lot of grief because people are like, it's a rock paper scissors thing, but it's like way.
That's good.
It's way really more than that though. It's driving me crazy. Like it is rock paper scissors, but you have to like. There's like cues to things. So like like the formula changes. Layers. Yeah, the formula will change when they get enraged, right? So if they're doing like power attacks, if they get enraged, they might switch to technical or speed attacks. And it's like, well, you got to kind of think about if you know the series, you got to think about, well, what attacks do they do when they're enraged? And you can basically predict, okay, this is more like speed based, or you can just guard, take the hit, and be like, okay, they did a speed base, I got to switch it out. But then there's also like type, there's status effects, there's the regular RPG turn-based stuff on top of that, and it's like that's really cool. And there's no like random battles. That's really nice.
Yeah, you gotta love that.
Yeah, but basically what like solidified it for me was that maybe it took too long because in the first game it was a lot shorter, but it opened up exploration. Your Rathalos can finally fly, and so you get the ability to fly, and it's just like, man, I get to like cool. You actually want to explore now because like, okay, I can avoid everything basically. I just fly over everybody.
Yeah,
not my problem anymore. And then they also do this thing where like if you run into a monster that you're like way over leveled, it's just you just double tap or you tap the triggers and it just does a quick battle.
Instant kill, yeah.
Insta kill, love it. Get your experience, move along. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's got the good balance of like it doesn't waste your time. Essentially, it very much knows like, okay, this is too easy for you, but we're not gonna make you go through the whole the whole process. You can speed it up 3 times, and then the last thing I'll say is that the ultra moves or whatever are so over the top and awesome.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
so dumb and fun to look at. Like I can't stop doing them. Like
Right.
It makes like there's like a payoff mid battle. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Pretty cool. But story's
is it
fun.
running okay?
That's what
I remember playing the demo not too long ago, and I remember that it just was really struggling. But that was when it first released.
Yeah, it plays fine for me. I haven't really had any problem. But
playing
I'm not
on Switch, right?
Yeah, I'm playing on Switch, but I don't like. I don't know how people can tell when frames are dropping unless they're like going down to like single digits. Like I don't got the eye for that shit.
I think it's you have to have seen and become used to like 60 FPS or above.
Yeah, like
and plus you also have to have a TV or a monitor that can even see that, because a lot of TVs are locked at 30 to 60 FPS.
Right.
And then you have to have the right cable attached to your system to even like get the input at speed like that. So that's like a whole thing. Like you can have like a super powerful machine, but if your monitor can't see the frames, then there's really no point.
Yeah, basically just live in ignorance because it's bliss. I know none of it. I'm like, yeah, it runs fine. Good enough.
Looks great.
Yeah. And besides that. So yeah, I recommend that game if anyone's looking for an RPG. It's a better Pokemon, basically. It's
for sure. Yeah, I wish Pokemon had that layer of combat that game has, because that was my first impression playing it, because I didn't play the first what is it? It's it Riders? Stories. Sorry, Riders was the gacha game, I think.
Yeah, it was like a phone game.
Right. Yeah, so like that was my first impression of the combat system of the game. It's like, holy shit, this is so much better than Pokemon. It's like, this is what I want Pokemon to like. They don't have to emulate that style exactly, but like, like have layers like that to the combat system. It's just really satisfying.
Yeah. And like having like yourself and your monster, but your monster works independently somewhat, makes it like much more interesting. Because there are times where you have to like account. Like if I know my monster's gonna lose, the rock paper scissors match, but like I can't get him out of it with like a special move or something. It's like, okay, now I need to account for the fact that he's gonna take a hit. So like not having total control of it makes it a bit more interesting as well. Like it adds like a random element to it.
Right.
Yeah. I wish Pokemon wish it would grow up already. Just do something a little different.
Come on. Give Pikachu a gun or something.
Yeah, what are we waiting for?
Tommy gun.
Yeah, give him a Tommy gun. A taser.
Detective Pikachu, eat this.
Just Dick Tracy. Just
Yeah.
What else? What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the only thing, unfortunately, one of the only memories I have of playing Stories 2 was how glaring the pacing some of it was for like the progression of monsters, because you've beaten the Snow Mountain, right? By now, you have Flying Rathalos. So, in the Snow Mountain, you encounter you have to go to these points of interest that are these giant gaping circular pits, right? Like it emanates this energy that drives monsters crazy and wild and rampant and all that stuff, right? It's a typical Monster Hunter story, the trope. Like something's driving the monsters insane. Figure it out.
We gotta kill them all. Take their place.
Anyways, the ecosystem is saved.
It's just a pile of bones behind you.
Crunch.
Handled. Who wants lunch?
Don't tell people. It's fine.
But yeah, so you encounter the snow area's point of interest, and you have to fight one of my personal favorite monsters in the entire series, Celtis Queen.
Yeah.
And Celtis and Celtis Queen show up, and it's a really cool fight. I loved it in that game. But then after that, you get a cutscene of like, oh my god, it's a Lagombi! What the fuck? You just fought a Celtis Queen. Yeah. This is just a Lagombi.
What do you mean? It's the most like whatever monster. It's like intro to this is how you hunt. Some monsters
it's a tier 1 monster.
They slide. Watch out! He throws snowballs at you. Yeah, he shows
a sliding penguin fucking bunny bear. like it's a joke monster. Like
yeah, and he's just there with like black flames and shit. Like God, what happened?
Lagombi gets a full cutscene, and fucking Celtis Queen is just like a boss fight. Like, all right, you're fighting Celtis Queen now, and it's like here it is.
I don't know. It was cool. I like how they do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Celtis Queen fight was cool. It was just funny to see that Lagombi was the step above Celtis Queen. Like, why?
He was a tempered.
Why did they do that?
Tempered Apex Lagombi or some shit.
No, he's just regular Lagombi.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I'd say play it if you get a chance. It's fun. It's the only RPG in a while that's been able to like hold my attention. But again. Caveat is I'm basically obsessed with Monster Hunter lately, so it's just part of it.
You think you'll be able to finish it before Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
And you got this week off, right?
I got the next 2 days off, and then I got Friday off for the game release. But I'm working on some other stuff too. I'm trying to be a productive human being, so I shouldn't play all the time. Right now I'm kind of like just going back, like backtracking a bit, doing all like the Everdens so you can get all the feline coins and all that stuff. Like just going behind everything I've done. I'm not really moving the story forward, so I don't know how much there is left.
I gotcha.
But I'm assuming there's probably like 20 more hours because they just kind of
probably.
I'm in 50 right now. Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's not like you don't really have to grind. But it's not like whenever you're getting somewhere, there's plenty to fight on the way. So if you just like keep with the story, you'll be fine. Because like there's not well, there's a lot too. There's also like the multiplayer aspect. There's so much. The game is really it's got a lot. It's got a lot of content. So, but it's probably gonna be just like my comfort game. You know, just jump in, do a couple fights, jump back out.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Speaking of comfort games, I've also been playing a little bit of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Just popping in, being like, oh yeah, this game's fucking weird. Just like, I have a cat farm. I forgot about that. And oh man, I actually gotta gather things again. Like, I like this. And yeah, just here and there. No big deal. If you ever see me online, hit me up. I'm happy to help people. And then I found something that I've been looking for like a year. And since I got my PS3, it's Sonic Generations. Which sounds weird, but it's just super rare in Tokyo. I just couldn't find it anywhere, and it all comes from literally watching like somebody did a mod of one of the levels, the Sonic Adventure 2 level, the one where you're like sliding through the town, the city, you're in San Francisco or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But they changed it so that your Sonic, the Sonic character he looks like Beat from Jet Set Radio. And they're playing like Jet Set Radio music, and I was like, "This is the coolest fucking thing ever! How do I do this?" And I got it for the PS3. I'm not gonna mod it or anything like that, but it was just like I remember like enjoying Sonic, and so I just wanted to do that.
That's one of the best ones too, I think. In recent memory,
I'm feeling
it. I played a little bit of it, but that's like that hits right on the nostalgic nail right there.
Basically,
San Francisco.
Yeah. It's hitting all. Getting all the right notes, and I'm like, yeah, this feels great. And then it's like, hey, you want to do more challenges? I'm like, not really, but hang around.
I just want to know. I just want to know, Sonic Team, when the fuck are you gonna bring back Chow Garden?
Please.
Where the fuck is Chow Garden at, dude?
That's what I'm saying.
I got that music playing in my head right now. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a story behind that. I don't know for certain. I'd have to look this up, but I've heard that the person who's in charge of Sonic Team just didn't like the guy who made Chow Garden.
Oh God!
And like, he's just like, we just can't have Chows in Sonic anymore because I hate this man so much. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a rumor. I have no fucking clue.
That'd be terrible. That'd be a travesty. honestly.
Really? Yeah, because Chow Garden was so fucking good.
Dude, like, talk about replayability, man. Just like going back to those levels, getting
so
the
good.
animals.
It's why I play that game.
It's so much fun. I
Just
remember like
get resources for the chows.
I remember getting the chows, putting them on my little VMU, the Dreamcast memory card, going to school, connecting with another kid's VMU, and just like having them sumo wrestle each other. It's fucking awesome.
No way.
So cool.
Yeah, I went to the trouble of getting the Tails Chow. It's mythic, man. You got to play on a completely different game. You have to play Phantasy Star Online. You have to progress significantly. There's a special mission where you got to do blah blah blah, get an egg or some shit, have that save in your memory card, then boot up Sonic Adventure, and they're like, "Hey, we found this egg. Where'd you get it from? That's really weird." Fucking love that shit. And then the last thing I'll talk about before we talk about what we're here to talk about, an hour in, is I saw the Mario movie. Yay!
Mario.
Alec, you saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it with my wife.
Mike, did you see it?
And I have not seen it.
All right. Do you want spoilers?
I don't go to movie theaters.
Good man. Good man. It was a great movie. It's real fun.
Oh yeah.
All the right balance of callbacks, and just like quick pace. Not a lot of downtime. Kind of like that. Good for the kids, I guess.
Nice. Just a fun movie.
Super fun movie. I was laughing most of the time. It was really good.
Nice.
Also, within the first 5 minutes, they're in Brooklyn, and someone just says, "Hey, I'm working here," and I'm like, "I'm sold. I'm in. I'm 1,000% in." It's the way to do it. Yeah, the power-up stuff was super cool. The voices are perfectly fine. Anybody else who's still complaining about it,
they just don't know. They're just complaining about nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're mad about at this point. Like, I couldn't even like imagine Chris Pratt's face like while any of the movie was happening. Like, I really tried. I was like, does it even sound like him? I'm like, not kind of. I don't. It was fine. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you can't have Charles Martinet doing that whole
oh my god
bit that he does the entire movie because it'd get old real quick.
Do you know who he played in the movie?
Didn't he play the old Mario?
Yeah, he played both the Jumpman, and then he also played his dad.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's
I didn't know about the dad part.
Yeah, okay. which is the worst part for me is that they undercut him as like, oh, we want that ridiculous voice. He's like, he's like a legit voice actor. Like he's been doing it forever. Like
right.
He's done other voices.
It's wild. It's wild.
And they just
because like speaking of that, just like Charles Martinet, I saw a playthrough of Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. It's a turn-based Lord of the Rings game, and it is not good. But there's a moment in it where Gimli shows up, and he's voiced by Charles Martinet, and it sounds perfect. He did a perfect Gimli impression, and it's just wild because you think it's the actual voice actor from the movie because they actually had they had Gandalf's voice actor and they had Saruman's voice actor. So like, yeah, but and that was it. It was just Charles Martinet.
Yeah, he's a really good voice actor, and it really sucked that they just the consensus amongst gamers or whatever was just like,
I was just dumb.
Have him do this a really annoying, cringy voice for the entirety of a film. Like, I don't want to watch that. It sounds terrible. Like,
yeah.
But also, I like that they address it. Like, it's the first thing in the movie is them addressing how ridiculous his voice is, and I was like, yes, you're correct. Like they foresaw it. I was like, perfect. Yeah, overall,
I think the only issue I had was that Mario, when he first comes to the kingdom, and Peach is having him run through that course. What do you call it? Yeah,
like training course or whatever.
The training course, yeah. Mario is just inept or something. He just doesn't really understand how to traverse this thing, and then Peach is like, well, I did it my first try, and I was like, all right. But I thought, hey, he's new to the job, so maybe he has to learn. Yeah,
it was also cool how like the power-ups kind of worked. Like I wondered, like, are they really just gonna make him like bigger if he has a mushroom? And they kind of did, and I was like, that's cool, and it makes him a little stronger, helps him jump. There's a lot of like, yeah, you jump better now. I was like, okay. No one ever says that out loud ever, unless you're like a pole vaulter or something. Like, hey, yeah, I can jump better now. Like, oh, what? That's like kids when they get like new shoes and they're like, I run faster. It's like, nah, you don't.
Sorry, kid.
There's no springs. These are moon boots. I'm just gonna.
Oh man!
Yeah. All right, so
the rocket boots.
Do you remember those those like spring-loaded shoes?
Yeah, the purple ones. Yeah, I had the purple ones.
I wanted those so bad.
No, I never had
with
those.
the rubber bands. They were not very good. You didn't really miss anything.
Yeah.
Oliver.
And my mom was like, she saw me like eat it on a pogo stick. She's like, yeah, nah, it's not for you.
Nah.
I ate it
Even
bad.
pogo sticks. There's not a lot of balance to those things, is there?
No, man, they're hard, dude.
You bought them out real quick, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of exceeded the weight limit of this thing. I'm not gonna go very high.
Well, I was just.
There's the I think in the 90s there was the skateboarding fad as well, like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Like, so like that one, I think that was my most adventurous sport as far as trying to get into, but it's just like immediately just being like, oh nope, I'm good.
Skateboarding is hard. I tried that too,
It's
and I
very
thought, man,
difficult.
I gotta break my body a little bit before I can become
Especially when you're a kid, right? It's just like I don't know. You're just not as ambidextrous or something like that, right? Just
I got a good skateboarding story. You want to hear it? Like 2
Yeah,
days.
go for it.
Okay, so I'm like 21, 22, and my cousin's working at a shoe shop, and she has a super cool skateboard. She's like, "Here, take it." I was like, "What the fuck? I don't know how to do this." She's like, "Take it." I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I guess I could figure this out. I'm an adult, so I'm rolling up and down my street, right? And it's an old road, right? It's all crunkly and stuff. So I'm just making a racket, just going up and down the same road. Every dog on the street is losing their minds. And I'm just going, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just trying to keep my balance. I'm going faster and faster. I'm trying to really pick up the speed, right? It's getting dark. I'm like, I just got to keep going. It's good exercise, whatever. And at one point, I kicked the board out from under myself. And I'm like leaning forward too far. And I just eat it. Just ate the ground, right? So fast. It was so fast I couldn't react. I was just like, oh, I'm on the ground. What happened? And like my entire left side is just like chunked. I'm just done. I'm like, oh crap.
Oh no.
I've got blood running down my arm. Like my ass hurts. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, I think I broke my foot. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's happening. So I gotta, but I happened to fall right about in front of my house. So I grab my skateboard. But as I'm getting up, there's an old lady who's at this intersection just staring at me. And she looked at me just like limping, bloody, and she's just like, "Heh," and just turned around and went back in her house. I was like, damn. So I limped my way into my house. At the time I lived with my grandma and my uncle Chris. And I'm like, Chris is a few years older than me. And so like my grandma gets worried really easily. She has high blood pressure, all this stuff. So I got to play it really cool or she's going to panic. Because there's a lot of blood. And I don't know where it's coming from. So I just like, luckily, she's like on kind of like the other end of the house, and it's kind of dark. So I just opened the door. I'm like, just gotta, keep it together. And I'm like, hey, Grandma, everything's great. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, just don't worry about it. I get to the hallway, and I'm just like gasping for air, just like dying, like just dragging myself across. And then, like, my uncle's in his room, and I'm like, yo. And he's like, the fuck happened to you? I'm like, I need peroxide now. And I'd like go take a shower and try to get all the blood off of me. I basically just took a chunk out of my elbow. No. Big old bruise on my ass. I couldn't even like sit. Luckily my foot wasn't broken or whatever. But after that I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna recover fast from anything anymore. Those days are done. And after that I was just like, I quit sports. We're done. We're good. That's my story. Don't do sports, kids. Instead,
no more sports.
Gamble on gotcha. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, gotcha.
Gone are the days where your body's not like a jellyfish.
I don't
just absorb the hits.
It bugs me. Like, you know what bugs me more is like when I see kids get hurt and I'm like, oh man, you'll feel better. Like, no, I won't. I'm like, actually, you're gonna be fine in like 20 minutes and I hate you for it. Like,
give it a couple seconds.
Like
this would knock me out for a week.
Yeah, this is me limping and going, oh god, for days. I'm gonna be the worst person for a month. But fine, you're gonna be all right. Anyways,
sitting down too long just makes you limp around. Just
dude,
oh god,
my legs fall asleep
Can't
all
move.
the time from nothing. All right, here we're back to the Nowhere to Dad podcast again. We always find our way. It's either Star Wars or body aches. That's
nowhere else to go, man.
So originally we well, not originally, but the reason for the podcast was to talk about our game club game. Yay! Game club. We need a jingle.
We need to find a better game to talk about.
Yes.
Please. Tears of the Kingdom. Please.
Tears of the Kingdom's coming out, so that's gonna be our game for the next game for the game club because everyone's gonna be playing it, and there's no point in trying to steal people's attention to a lesser game or a game that they're not interested in. But since Alec is the guest of honor today, a longtime community member. I didn't even introduce you properly. What a terrible host.
Oh, jeez.
Alec, our longtime community member. Yeah. All right, start. Just right from the beginning. How did you feel about what's the game called? Jett. That was fucking the worst title.
Far Shore?
The Far Shore plus Given Time, but I only played the Far Shore.
Yeah, it's 2 games.
It's 2 games.
2 games. It's like an add-on.
2 modes, yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of feel the same sentiment what Mike was saying, that I didn't really take to this game very well. I put about a little over an hour into it, and I could set it up. They drop you into this world, and it's almost like the Hunger Games, where you live in this little village, and they choose you to join their Elon Musk. That's like the 3rd time I've referenced Elon Musk. I might have this little affinity for him. But you're chosen to go into outer space, and they've got some religious involvement in this NASA program, and so you leave your family, bye mom and dad, and then you get taken up into the ship, and they go through the tutorial. And I think at that moment, I thought, going through the tutorial, I thought something's not right with these controls. They're all right, but the responsiveness of them when you're riding in your rocket ship and you're bouncing up and down above the waves and avoiding obstacles, I was like, this could be tuned a little bit better. So
yeah,
agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the controls are very fluid. I will say, Oliver, it's not the flex or anything like that, but like the game is actually, they tuned it for the PlayStation 5 controller.
My ego. Oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, I thought the same
part about the game. That is the coolest part of it.
Yeah, I figured as much because let me tell you, my controller wouldn't stop fucking shaking, and I I was like, I bet this is for something else. I bet this is better for like the haptic controls or whatever.
Are you sure you don't have Parkinson's or something?
I could.
Oh no!
After that, maybe.
Get that checked out. You know, if you had a PS5 controller, it could tell you if you had Parkinson's. It's that good.
That's what it's sensing.
It takes a blood sample.
It's like those cancer sniffing dogs. It just tells you your illness.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Damn, Sony, did you? Yeah.
So yeah, the controller, the control, like how that feels in the PS5 controller is the most coolest part about it, in my opinion, as far as like the throttle, like the sticks actually fight you, as far as like putting pressure down, and once you're overheating, it starts to shake. Like the trigger actually shakes in your finger and everything like that. It's a good like haptic feedback system. The controller itself is just the best feature. Yeah, that the thing is, personally, I was interested in this game based on who made it. It's made by Super Brothers.
Yeah.
And they made one other notable game. I don't think they've done any other published games. But they did a sword and sorcery game. That's what it was called, by Super Brothers. And that's like a text adventure. Is that what it's like? Monkey Island? Is that called like text adventure, or what is that?
Adventure. I don't know. It wasn't point and click.
Like adventure. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so they made a phone game like that, and I was enthralled by that game. I never finished it myself because it had some intricate puzzles that I never figured out, and I was too stubborn to look them up. So I never finished it. But the art style and the music really captured me, and
Yeah.
the part about it. I'll say, like Jett, the music is very good. I didn't have headphones when I was playing it. I wish I did. But the uh, the atmosphere they're trying to set with the music was really nice. Because the game does set you off assuming you're like on an Earth type planet. You're in like a native tribe walking up to your parked jet spaceship, typical of native tribes. But yeah, you clearly are set in a world where the world is dying. The atmosphere is very like brown. The colors are very like desaturated, and just everything's kind of gross. But the thing is that really just started taking me out of that game like immediately is that they have like this made up language. I think it's made up.
Yeah,
I don't want to say
I looked it up.
Sounds like
I looked it up. It's made
go
up.
ahead.
Yeah, it is made up. It's totally.
It sounds like Finnish or like some kind of Deutschland.
It's like a mix of like like similar sounding like phonetics, right?
Yeah.
So
up and down. Yeah.
This guy in your spaceship just won't fucking shut up.
He does not. He does not.
Keeps talking for an hour straight, and it's just like I want to look at the visuals, but the game is speaking it.
Yes.
Read it, and it's just like,
yes,
dude, like.
Really
I don't know who this is for. I wish there was like a mute or something, or just like I want to play the not the story mode. I just want to play the atmospheric mode or something. I don't know.
Because chameleon eyes, you got to look down at and look at the screen. And drive and
yeah. I was actively being taken out of the game by the game itself. Okay, it was just like.
I was fearful that I was gonna come in here like super, like, pessimistic about it, but you guys were explaining everything I felt about it, because like it had such a problem with directing player attention. It was driving me crazy. It's like you made up a language, cool, but now you're making me read it. But I also gotta fly this plane thing. But there's not really any danger except for overheating. So you gave you this super widescreen, zoomed out view, but I'm not even looking at the jet or the view. I'm looking at my overheat bar because I can't stop it from really overheating. And then it's like, and then it's like, and the dude the dude doesn't ever shut up. And all he's saying, I mean, this is a pet peeve of mine. When games start using a vernacular that you don't understand to try to world build, but never give you the tools to understand it, like they got a breadcrumb it, you know what I mean? And it was just like, what are we talking about? Like, you're using words that don't exist. You're speaking a language that also doesn't exist, and you're making me read everything. And you're just like, well, fly your plane. Like, what the fuck are you talking? What are we doing here? Like, why am I here?
I feel like in order to enjoy a game like this, you just have to be completely open. To whatever's like in front of you. Like you can't be opposed to, because that start is slow. It doesn't feel like it speeds up at all, even when you get to the planet that you're being launched to. Like the story isn't like it isn't like groundbreaking. It's interstellar basically, right? Or it's just like you're humans being launched to another world, and there's like the cinematic intro where it takes control away from you after you do the jet portion, where it's just watching the jet portion of the takeoff and like interstellar travel. And they show a year counter going by, and you travel 1,000 years away from your planet to find a new planet to inhabit and all this stuff like that. But like when you get there, it's just like I was like actively pressing the triggers, like, oh, do I have to do something? It's like it doesn't feel like it's not like my ADHD taking over. It's just actively like, is this game like going anywhere? Is it still working? Like, it's so slow.
You fall for like 10 minutes when you're going to that first planet.
Oh my god! You're falling. When you're in that pod and the parachute, I'm just like, what? Can we just get there? Like, what do we do? Stop talking to me. Like, just
this is real time.
Oh my god!
There's nothing interesting enough happening to warrant that much time to sit on something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really like, because that hurts me to say that, because I really want to enjoy this game, because I'm all for like these types of like artsy or like sort of immersive sims. Like you just kind of want to get lost in something like that, like Journey.
Yeah.
But Journey doesn't waste your time.
It doesn't fucking waste your time. And this is the same problem. Man, I'm always like, pumping up Journey, like just throwing it on every pedestal I can.
Journey's great,
But
man.
the problem is when you get a game like
Great
this,
game.
that like, the reason why Journey's so damn good is because it does everything right up front, and it doesn't do it in a way that it's like, it doesn't, it gives you your purpose right from the beginning. It's like, that's a mountain, there's a light, and the camera points right at it. It's like, okay, I got it. This was like, I don't even know. It's just like blah, 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 blah. Like what are we talking about? Here's one word you don't know. Here's another one. Like okay, and it's like here now walk. Like why am I walking? Okay. Oh, walking feels terrible.
Yeah, walking was really clunky.
Oh.
Yeah, there was some haptic feedback with the walking because you could feel each step, like left, right, kind of thing. That's about the biggest feedback feature for the walking segments.
Dude, like
you're walking in molasses.
Yeah.
Just like
there's a sprint feature, but then the start of the game you're on foot. You do this little tribal thing, and then they give you the option to sprint to your ship. Then you're in your ship, and then you're on another on foot segment, but then you can't sprint. They took it away from you because you have to walk now.
You gotta walk these stairs.
It is like 10 minutes of walking forward and taking in the view. It's just
it's the weirdest. Like I've never seen these problems that I thought were diametrically opposed come together. Where it's like it's giving you too much information, but it's not letting you do anything with it. So it's like super slow, but also visual overload. I'm just like, I don't. What is happening here? It's like, and then like, did you know there's a cockpit button? Because I just pressed it by accident, and it's just like, hey, you want to talk some more? I'm like, no, get me out of here! Like, what are we doing? Yeah,
Did you get to that 20-minute part where the storms are rolling in, and you're like, your co-pilot tells you to go and investigate and explore that little island? Did you guys get to that part?
Yeah, I was on the island. That was the last thing I did. Yeah, I didn't finish the timer.
Yeah, they give you 20 minutes.
Yeah,
before the storm subsides, and you're exploring, and you're like, oh, look at these little fauna, and look at these little deer running around.
Yeah,
and I could pop them. And
it's so funny. It's so funny because I know Alec, but me and Oliver, we played this game called Omno last week.
Oh my god!
And it was about a game where it's platforming, going around and like cataloging fauna. So then, like this game's list pops up of all the fauna. I was like, oh no, it's Omno! How did this happen?
Yeah. And
How are we playing Omno again? But it's slow.
Well, like, yeah, the 20-minute timer thing. So this game also has a thing where every time you start a mission or whatever, it tells you how long it should take you.
That's right.
So this one was like 2 hours. I'm like, 2 fucking hours? Okay. So then like 20 minutes of that.
12-hour experience supposed to be.
Right. So out of the first 20 minutes is just a camera shot and this dude just yapping. And then like you land on the planet and they're like, oh, well, guess what? You can't really, drive. I'm like, the fuck?
Oh, that's right. The engine's busted.
I was like, so am I going to be able to fix it? They're like, well, I'm going to work on it, but let me just keep on talking. Like, okay.
Keep on yapping.
And we're just going to keep going slowly and slow. It's just like, do you guys...
Limping along.
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys care about my time? Because it sure doesn't feel like... I'm totally down for a 2-hour adventure if it feels like I'm getting somewhere. But if as soon as I start it up, you're gonna talk me up for 10 minutes. Then you're going to drop me like super slow... Yeah, and then as soon as I get there, you're gonna cap me at the knees, and it's just like, okay, guys, like, do you want me here or not? Because it feels like you don't want me to enjoy the cool, the movement. I thought this game was gonna be about movement. I really thought it was gonna be about like traversal and deal and like. I thought it was gonna be about like pitching and yawing and all this, and it was like none of that. It was none of that.
Yeah, you get like a hop option, but if you if you pull left or right on the analog stick while you're holding that button, you can do a roll. The game never told me that I could do that. I just figured that out through boredom. I just like, what can I do with this controller at this point?
Yeah, if you go far enough, they will say something about that.
Yeah,
but you figured it out on your own.
Yeah.
I wish you could feather the jets a little bit better because I'm
on
this island trying to like scan these little animals, and I'm like I can go 2 miles an hour, or I can go 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Which do you want to do? So
I wanted to go 200 so I can get the hell out of there and go to the next place so the guy can stop talking already and I could do something. Like,
exactly.
Also, let me just say, from a sci-fi perspective, this is the worst way to explore anything. Like, I didn't feel like I was exploring and finding things. It was like, I'm just flying around. Like, how are we like pioneers? Like, what are we? Who would just do this? Yeah, you don't just show up with an ATV and just like, all right, we're going mudding. Like, no, dude, you show up with like a camp. You got to get some power. Like, I felt like they were putting the cart before the horse for the sake of gameplay, but then I didn't get any of the gameplay. I was like, so what are we doing? Yeah. A lot of it was just really weird and
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to the UV rays, like where you have to hide in the shadows? Did you guys get to that part?
No.
So that's what finally turned me off. Is the sun or whatever gets really red, and you gotta take refuge behind the hills. Oh. And so at that point, I thought, man, I can't even tell where the shadows are defined, definitely. And so I'm lost at that point. I said, that's it. I gave it a chance, and that's the best I could do. But I want to say, Mike, you were talking about the music. The music was probably the best part of the game, and also the art and the character design. I thought that actually looked pretty good. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Double Fine's, I think it's called The Broken Age.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they have this game, and the way that this artist portrays some of the characters, I'd say it's very similar to Jett's art design. There's something just kind of unsettling about the characters, but very stylized. They all have their eyes are half open. I like the look of them. Their bodies aren't quite proportioned properly.
So
that was probably my net positives: the music, and then some of the character design.
Yeah,
was good.
I'd say it's a nice adaptation to their pixel graphics stuff, because it's kind of like a 3D translation of that. I'm gonna post just a quick picture of like their art style from the Sword and Sorcery game. Like, that's the character art basically. It's very simplistic, but the 3D models basically had like that same kind of structure, right? Small head, very
wide
like
hips.
The body's a block essentially, and the appendages are on the furthest points so that they can be. So
yeah, I also think I was looking at the what do you call it? The like just some background on the game, trying to figure out like what was the lead up to this? What's the thought process? And they were talking like, I read a bit about like the influences they claim to have, and one of them struck me in a way that kind of frightened me. It said it was heavily influenced by Flower. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh no.
I'm like, that kind of puts the game in a weird perspective where it's like, I kind of get what you're trying to do, but
that makes a lot of sense.
Like, I feel the movement thing and I get it, but I just didn't get any of the actual movement. But I mean, I think it also brings an interesting point about like, when is enough? Like, when is it a good time to like cut yourself off from the game? Because I was like, I don't know how much time I should have put into it, but like once I got to that timer and it was like 20 minutes, and I was just like, okay, at this point, I think I can say that they're not really respecting the amount of time that I'm putting into it, and they're also like, they're not doing a good job of keeping me around or interested, right? Like,
right.
And I think about like, because my biggest complaint is the language thing, because it's the worst distractor, right? It's keeping you reading when you should be flying and all. Like, it's just really weird. You can't tell if it's an actual language or not, and all this stuff. But when I think about games that like give you like a vocabulary or a vernacular that you're not aware of, like there's a certain amount of onboarding, and the best example I can come up with was the intro to Mass Effect. Because the intro to Mass Effect is crazy. Like, you're just this dude, and then you meet this weird cat scale guy, and he's like, "Get the hell away from me! I'm a Spectre." Like, what the hell's a Spectre? But then they show it, like he like they express it by how he acts, right? When they're like, "Oh, there's a threat," they show like the Geth are a threat. They show them being a threat, right? Like, there's always like there's an expectation, and then they meet the expectation, right? And so you're introducing you to all these weird things, and when you meet like different aliens, like you get the time to learn about them and stuff. But this stuff was just like throwing words at you that you wouldn't know, but it almost I wasn't even sure how it was relevant to what my goals were, because I thought my goal was to fly this plane. Sometimes, because then sometimes he's flying it. Just like, and also, who are you? Like, what is your relation to me? Why should I care about what you're saying? And who am I? And what is my relation to the world? And there's like so many questions that were just kind of being brushed over, which is fine for an intro because you don't want to like front load like all the info and stuff.
Right.
But at the very least, you gotta like you gotta breadcrumb it, right? You gotta give a little bit of a a little rope, right? So you can like pull on like, oh, okay, I get why we're doing this. Oh, I get why we're doing this. Like the intro, I was able to suffer because it was like, yes, the intro of a game, they're gonna gate you, right? Because they want to make sure you get like the skill set. And it seemed like this is gonna be the type of game where I really gotta master the movement. But then turns out like not really. You just gotta master like when to let go of the right trigger, and then when to press it again. Like, all right, I don't. And like everything felt like gummy, right? Like when I was like using like the resonance thing to like, I don't know, learn about things. I wasn't ever sure when it was working or not. Then when it did, it would bring up like a giant text box, and I'm like, do I look at this text box? And it was hard to read, and then it would disappear too quickly, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, what was that? Why did I need to see that? But then when I was looking at the text box, I missed the conversation we were having. So I'm like, oh, maybe he told me, and I just didn't know. It's like, yeah.
And like like for the mechanics, you can scan things. You basically fill up bars the more times you scan a thing. And it gives you somewhat more objectives based on that. Like sometimes there's like these amber pods you could grapple because your ship has a little grappling hook. And then you can punt it. That was the word used there. You can punt the amber around. It gives you a little reticule, like you're throwing a grenade, and it would cause a little explosion or abrupt little like puff, and the little fauna deer would go over and collect by it, and that's it. You'd scan the deer, and then you'd move on. Like that's about it. I found a sea serpent one time. That was interesting, I guess. There's a giant sea serpent.
Right, yeah, I hopped over it, and I was like, oh, well, it's gone now. All right, see you later.
I went back and I scanned it. Like the game doesn't tell you to do that, I don't think, but I did it. Just.
So what are some things they could have done better if we were being critical and not just
you cut it down,
crapping on this guy?
You speed it up, cut it down, just completely mute it. Don't have a single word spoken. Don't have a single word of this fake language spoken. Just have the visuals and the music carry you. That's it.
Or speak English. If they have English going on, then you can do two things at once.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
I think they wanted like a disassociation with like the real world, right? Or some kind of like they just wanted something like.
Yeah, I think probably having just like clear objectives from the outset would be much more helpful, because it's just I didn't know, even as like I didn't know what my player character was there for.
Right, so, they throw words at you like every so like, oh, you got to go to the scout like thing. You're a scout. All right, I'm a scout.
What does that mean?
What am I doing makes me feel like a scout? Nothing really. Nothing in that game really.
Yeah, what was I?
Other than collecting a fauna list.
It's important. You're a scout. Yeah. A lot of it's just pacing, man. It's pacing. Like
pacing.
Don't make me walk upstairs to nothing. Like, why did I walk up those stairs for? To be like, look, there's hands. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, oh, look, a rocket's gonna launch. Like, you could have just shown me that. Why did I have to walk up here? There's no like story benefit for it. There was no information was given. Like, no information was gained by the player. Just like, yeah, you're gonna go. You're gonna. I think you're walking towards that rocket. Like, okay. All right. Why are we leaving again? No idea. No fucking. Like, okay.
Well, visually, like you can get the gist, right? Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
turn around, like, you go up the stairs, everything looks like shit.
yeah, but
On the way to the cosmodrome, like there's just ships everywhere. They're sinking. They're rusted. They're gross. Everything looks like hell, and just there's a lot of hot air balloons too.
a
I don't
lot
know
of hot
why.
air balloons. Yeah.
I guess people just live in hot air balloons, even though that's closer to the smoggy atmosphere. I don't know.
At first I thought it was like a water world scenario where it was like, why is there so
Yeah,
much water? And I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
this is just what it is. But then suddenly I was like, I don't know, on a mountaintop with giant hands, and so I'm like, okay, I guess we're okay.
oh, that's what I forgot. That was weird.
Yeah, it's just I thought that was the exposition part. I was like, okay, now they're gonna explain it. And they're like, nah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, 1,000 years
Getting
later.
your torpor pod.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I feel like there's a really good story there, but just too many barriers to get to it. Like, and it's being
Yeah.
told in a really sloppy way, I guess.
Monotonous.
Yeah, it's just
Monotonous.
I don't want to. Well, also I'm gonna miss half of it. Like, you're
Yeah,
yapping.
because you're trying to play it. This
Yeah.
guy's just, yeah, it was a bad way to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Also, like, yeah, that part where you get out of the ship after the slowest segment when your ship is busted, you find an island, you get up on top of the island, and you build a little like signal, like a little rock signal, I guess, or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. The devotion, I think they
Yeah.
called it.
Oh right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I wish I could be more positive about it, but damn, man,
Yeah, I mean
that game is so.
that's a thing like we kind of like aim for with the podcast, mostly is to try to
Yeah,
be as
we don't want to
positive.
be overly negative.
Yeah, but there's something like at the same time I don't want to lie either and just say
Right,
like I didn't
we're gonna
enjoy
be
it,
true.
but
Yeah,
yeah, it's something. If anybody's listening who's making games, it's just like make your objectives clear, because you got to like it can't just be story reasons within the story that nobody else is hearing, right? To justify the actions of the player, but like you got to give me something to look at. You got to give me a clear goal. Like think about like Breath of the Wild. Like you know what you got to do right away, right? Like you get him out of the cave, and there's a. I mean, you don't have to go see the dude, but you just got to look at the castle. You're like, oh damn, okay, right? Like everything's available to you, and it seems like a lot, but they kind of like guide you little by little. You get your little plateau, and they're like, okay, you see the big pig monster? Well, eventually deal with that. Like, cool, got it, and I'll figure out the rest. It could be free and open like that, and you could figure it out yourself. But if like, imagine if Navi never shut up, and then spoke in like elf language, and then just kept talking, and you just be like, bro, hey, I'm trying to do a thing. You're like, oh no, I gotta tell you why you're doing it with all these words you don't know. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, hey, dude, like, I don't know. It's there's like a certain amount of like, you got to build a bridge to the player,
right.
And it just wasn't there.
And like the reason for you to play the game doesn't have to be like ham-fisted to you. It doesn't have to be handed to you, right?
Yeah.
Like like you bring up Journey, but also not to just say Journey all the time, but like
Okay.
I don't know if you played this game, Alec, but I know me and Oliver have. But this game called Far Lone Sails. That game is fantastic.
So good.
It's just
so
a side-scrolling,
I'm not playing.
left to right puzzle game, and it's awesome.
And
it's just great.
And no words, nothing spoken.
No words.
You just know exactly. You it's like, yeah, there's puzzles and stuff, but you get the story just by doing the actions, right?
Right. You're traveling this world on this giant like wheel vessel. I want to say, it's a cool looking thing with a huge sail on it and everything. And it's just you get it, and as you progress through the game, it just feels super satisfying because the pacing is perfect.
Yeah, and
I'm very eager to play the sequel to that one because that one is out.
Yeah, it was a Far Sails or something like that. But
it's it's now in a submarine or something like that because the first game ends with you going to the ocean.
Right. Yeah, there's something about like yeah, just again, I'm gonna go back to Mass Effect. The first time I played Mass Effect, the first one, I was not really into it because the shooting kind of sucked, and I was like, what is this? Blah blah blah. And I was super poor, and I had no money, and I still had the disc, and I was like, I'm gonna play this game again, and I forced myself to stick with it. But the moment Mass Effect clicked was when I was given a purpose within the game to go through all the minutia of learning about these peoples and these cultures and blah blah blah. When it was like, oh, like this is the enemy, and they're gonna eat everybody. Like what? Like you were just gonna? This is the Borg. Get ready. I'm like, What do you mean? You're the Borg? Like, we're the Squid Borg. Oh shit. Okay. And then nobody believes you, and it's like, oh, this is way more interesting, right? Like the buy-in came a little later for me, but like the setup was good enough to keep me around, right? Like there's enough interesting points. There are enough points of interest and interesting characters, and not a dude just yapping in my ear. All right, I'm gonna stop complaining about the game.
Oh man, just looking up the OST to this game, the fucking music actually just told something way more profound in storytelling that I picked up in the game when I played it. The track that plays when the rocket is launching is called "Out of Our Hands," and it's just the picture of the hands and the rocket launching.
Oh my god!
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that at all.
That makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. That's good symbolism, right?
But I wouldn't know because they didn't stop talking.
No, damn it.
Oh,
that's actually good.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
And I bet it's frustrating from a dev's perspective to hear people say these things when there's like 10 hours more of game, and I'm sure there's way more story, and it's like it sounds like a really good foundation for something, but it's just not selling it effectively enough, and just like hamstringing the player to the point where it's like, this game looks like it's about movement, and you're not letting me move. Like, so why should I stick around for the next hour and a half of this level or whatever? Like, that's a commitment. You're already telling me up front, this is a time commitment. It's like, okay, thanks for telling me. I actually appreciate that.
That's the best. Like, that's a great feature. I wish more games did that.
I wish more games did that. But then it's like, yeah, but I don't want to be here for 2 hours actually, because this isn't that interesting. Like, please do more. But I'm relieved on a personal, selfish note that I'm not the only one, because I was very worried. I'm gonna be that guy again. It's just gonna be like,
no, I knew it. I was like, no, these guys won't like it. There's no way.
These guys right here, they
got good taste.
So what I'll say is, if you want to experience Jett, the Far Shore, listen to the OST. Really, because like the music is the best part for sure. It's really good shit. I wish that's all we had audio wise in the game, but there is something else going on there. Like if you're able to play through it and experience it throughout and get to the next part, which is a whole another 12-hour experience apparently, add-on in the game. What is it, Without Time or something?
Given Time.
I
gave it enough.
So, but like, something's happening. They show the picture of the girl on the left, that's who you play as, and then on the right she's got glowing eyes. So something's happening. Like something's gonna happen in this story.
That's good.
But
yeah. So
at the bare minimum, check out the OST.
Yeah, I mean, and if you feel differently, if you beat the game, tell us. Join the Discord. Let us know that we're wrong. I want a good reason to play it. I want someone to tell me, like, actually, you fucked up. You should have finished that 2-hour mission.
You see, if you held the controller upside down, you can't hear the guy anymore. Like, the game senses that. It's like an interactive, like, media. It's very experimental.
Kojima style, yeah.
Can you imagine if the guy like spoke through the controller speaker? I would have chucked that thing out the window. Like, oh my god, I'm done with you.
Yeah. Oh man.
You know what? I'd rather hear the baby crying. I'd rather hear the baby crying than that dude talking. Like, I want the stress of a baby crying and demons trying to pull me into the underworld than listen to that dude yap.
You don't want to hear a guy that sounds like he's speaking polka music to you?
Oh my god!
The whole time, like, is this Swedish? I don't even know. Like, it felt
Well,
like,
when you get to the Cosmodrome, they start dropping like Russian phonetics and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh okay.
yeah, and everybody's name was kind of like, sometimes they felt like culture specific, and sometimes they felt like culturally androgynous. Like, it was just like they're just sounds we're making, but then I don't know. Sometimes like that's a very Russian name, that's a very Japanese name, but I don't know what the hell these letters are and why they're all put together.
The art styles kind of draws you in a little bit at the start of the game because you're met with like these Native Americans like tribe that you're starting in, and a very like an old woman with a braid, old white silver hair. She's got a braid down her shoulder, and she has a feather in her hair, right? Like, and then when you're outside, everyone's got like these very Japanese looking like the ponchos, and like they got the like almost like a rice hat type
Yeah.
aesthetic going for them. And then it just met with an even further like visual aesthetic change when you're met with a guy, he's in a spacesuit and you're getting into a rocket ship. It's just like these are like interesting points that aren't really like followed up on in a satisfying pace, I would say. As far as like there's a lot of things going on that could be interesting. I wonder if there's more to it. If you're wondering for a more smoother payoff, then unfortunately the game doesn't get there fast enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, same. Just it was a bit of a buy-in that I didn't realize I'd have to pay for. But
Yep.
Yeah,
We played it on the PlayStation Plus, so
yeah, that's the other thing. It's really easy to drop, right? I'm like, well, if I spend money on it, I'd be a bit more upset about it.
yeah.
All right,
Well, sounds good.
Next game on the game club. It's gonna be Zelda.
Zelda?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Well, it
Zelda.
comes out next week, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
So take a week off.
comes out on Friday.
Get ready, stretch. Okay.
Yeah, work out a little bit.
Work out a little now because you got to make up for it.
Exactly.
Or just take your Switch with you. I don't know.
right on the treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the next one. I don't want to pressure anybody to try to finish a game or something in 4 days. It's also
not possible.
we're all pretty old. We gotta work.
Oh yeah, we'll probably announce when we're gonna actually talk about it in podcast form.
Yeah,
and, we're all ready.
I would probably say we just do like a weekly check-in, maybe, because I don't know.
You want to do it like we'll do it on the Discord, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna set that up maybe today. We're gonna do. I'll put it in the gaming channel. We're just gonna do 2 like threads. One's gonna, and they're both basically like to keep spoilers where spoilers belong. So one's gonna be about like story stuff, and the other one's gonna be about mechanics. So if you want to talk about mechanic stuff and aren't afraid of being spoiled on mechanics, go there. If you don't care about the story or you want to talk about the story, go to the other one. That way everyone's kind of... Like I said, I'm going in blind. I just know apparently you can build a bunch of shit, and I don't care about the story. The bad guy and the drive... Yeah, okay. Whatever.
I still kind of need a little bit of a story to...
I do too.
Grab a hold of to keep moving forward, but I'm curious to see what happens. Basically.
That's kind of it, yeah. Because I don't. If it has a bad story, I don't know if it's gonna affect me too much. But because it's a sequel, I think like there might be a bit more investment.
Right.
But yeah. We'll split it up that way, so no one gets spoiled on stuff. That's gonna be hard because it's a game where if it plays like the last one,
you can go in any direction, right? So
right. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, that'll be your next one. I think if we take a week off, and play that, have something to actually talk about, dig into the meat of it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is all next week I'm gonna be busy playing it, so I don't have time for a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got priorities.
We're taking a week off.
Yeah, yeah, and then we'll figure that out, and we'll talk about it. So Alec, you're more than welcome to join us again.
Yes.
Yeah, this was fun, guys. Thanks for including me on this. Dude, I enjoyed
Thanks for coming. This is
awesome.
This is what we envision: is building a community, having people join us, talk about things, and just share our.
Thanks for the TV too, man.
Yeah, dude, TV is really nice.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna hold on to that.
I didn't even draw it, but you're welcome.
Things are weird out here, but yeah, yeah. All right, I don't know how to end the podcast, so.
Yeah, that's it.
We need a Paul Schaefer. Is what we need.
That'd be nice. Maybe we save up for a cameo.
Yeah.
Pay someone to give us an intro and an outro.
Maybe just a really fart loud fart.
I think
Big
that would
fart.
appeal too much to the Zoomers. I think.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hey, our server's got a few of those.
Demographics.
We got Zoomer friends, right? I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the ones not listening. Those are like, oh, here come the dad jokes again. Yeah. Yeah. So get ready for a in-depth conversation about how ridiculous Tears of the Kingdom is going to be, and
I'm praying to God that it works well on the Switch. I have high hopes that it will be, but that is the one worry in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
That the Switch will not be able to handle that much game.
I mean, I haven't looked at any previews because I'm trying to save time. But I haven't seen anything saying it's like, no one's ringing any bells.
Out of three of us, Oliver's going to be the one to see that at all. Me and Mike will be like, having a microscope and be like, you could see right here, anti-aliasing right here. And Oliver would be like, this is the best game of my life.
on my 15-year-old HD TV. Like, this is awesome. What are you talking about? I love this. Wait, the whole game isn't in black and white? What?
Drops?
That is what made me stop playing on the Monster Hunter Rise on Switch, because riding on the dog, like, you could just count the frames and just like, it hurts my eyes.
First of all,
it hurts.
Don't use the dog. Come on. Got the bugs.
I mean, yeah. I did stop using the dog, but I was playing on PC.
He left me again for the PC Master Race.
I'm just telling you, when you get a PlayStation 5, Oliver, and you start playing at that 60 frames, it's gonna change your life.
It will.
Y'all say that, but I have a really old TV. Like, I got this TV for $60 off some dude. Like, it's just. Okay. I don't know if I'd see the difference, but
maybe you might change that. The TV, yeah. That's maybe you can get a PS5 and a TV.
Yeah, we'll discuss some sponsors, and then we'll see about that.
Sponsored by Jett. Thanks for sponsoring us, Jett.
Fucking dropped immediately. Here comes a defamation suit. Right. Anyways, thanks. This is going on. We're almost hitting 2 hours here, so. All right. Alec, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys. That was awesome.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. We're gonna talk all about Tears of the Kingdom. We're gonna shed tears for the kingdom.
Don't cry.
Yeah, you never know. You
Hold
never
them
know.
back.
I've got emotions. All right.
Oh my.
All right. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.